Welcome to Game Changers. You know he's happy when he's jamming out on the
Mike,
set.
can we change the game of the last 3 games that we've seen? Can we change those games?
Why?
Those Dolphin games?
Oh, no.
No, we can't.
No.
That's not this. We can't do this on Game Changers.
No.
That's not literally the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No.
I was taking it as I was taking it as its literal sense.
No,
right?
listen.
Let's change those games.
Steve Goldstein, Tim Beaucamp, Mike Cunha. We are literally the 3 headless horsemen of the apocalypse or something, because all we have to talk about is bad news when it comes to the Dolphins going on here. Bo, how did the Jalen Phillips news this week hit you? He's out for
horrendous in a lot of ways. Certainly the impact that it makes on the football team. I don't think when he was playing, I still don't think he was at his best.
Yeah.
But he was playing. He was Jalen Phillips. He was making an impact. He was doing things, and you knew he was going to get better. And then, boy, I tell you, for the guy to go down and have to go on injured reserve, have to get the knee surgery, the reconstruction. First of all, my heart bleeds for that guy.
Yeah.
Anybody that's watched him, anybody certainly that's spoken to him, you've got to love this guy. He may be one of my favorite people. Forget football. He may be one of the my favorite people that I've met. I talked to him and watched him play and I said, this guy's going to be NFL Man of the Year at some point.
At some point.
I mean, he's that kind of guy. So just the pain that he's going through. Look, I've had a number of surgeries like that. I had 2 knee surgeries, and I know what he's feeling right now. Is that there's that question? You come out at the other end of the tunnel. Am I going to be that guy or not going to be that guy? He's gone through it with the Achilles. Now he's going through it with the knee, and I just have. It makes me very, very sad from what I see with him now.
It's a brutal loss, and everything you said about him is true. For everything we know about Jalen Phillips, he's such a good guy, and he says that he's going to come back even stronger, which is just amazing to have that kind of spirit about this. But Goldie, if you're a Dolphins fan, how do you have that spirit about this? This has got to be. Is this the straw that breaks the camel's back if you're a Dolphins fan?
Well, I think too it was the straw that broke the camel's back, and then everything else just piles on.
It was a 2-hump camel, though.
This thing, this thing. I've never seen anything like it over a 4-week period.
Right.
From a guy, I guess multiple guys really, getting detained and arrested outside the stadium before the opener, to injury after injury after. I mean, Tua and Teron Armstead, Raheem Mostert, and Jalen. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And then you got 2 other guys with concussions, including one that got poked in the eye.
Yeah, I went to I almost hit the brain or something.
I've never heard of a concussion. And it's nothing against Teron, great play, but it's just it's strange thing after strange thing, and the strangest of all to me may be how Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, with all the talent they have, and Mike McDaniel with the offensive mind, forget everything else with Mike, the pure offensive mind that he has to game plan and put people in position to succeed, which he has been great at. If they can't get those 2 guys to football and get them a little bit of space, it is just beyond me. And with each loss, to me, it gets worse and worse. Like Tua gets hurt against Buffalo. They were a great team. Okay, you go out to Seattle. You got Sky. Okay, the crowd's loud. There was no excuse for that Monday night game against 20. That was an embarrassment for the franchise. There's no excuse for that game.
By the way, and to make the Jalen Phillips thing even worse, Poyer's hurt on the play. They run into each other.
That's it. They both got hurt.
You can't make it up.
No, you can't. And Goldie, to follow up on what you're saying about Mike McDaniel and the offense, Tyler Huntley gets to start again this week. Do you think that's by design? Is that they just can't keep flipping back and forth between quarterbacks?
I think they got nobody else.
They have to stick with one guy.
Think about it the way it is. They got a guy off the practice squad of another team. And
he's their best player.
They threw for less than 100 yards in a league where every single rule, and this, over the last 2 decades, every rule, defense can't do anything. You breathe on a guy, it's a 5-yard defensive penalty and an automatic first down. So it's incredible.
I'm watching that game. I'm watching that game Monday night. And the only thing, the next morning I had people calling me. And as soon as I picked up the phone, I said, what was that?
Yeah.
What was that? I mean, that's all I could say. What was that? And they knew exactly what I have never seen a game like that. Oh, wait a minute. The week before, I saw a game like that. We may have seen back-to-back 2 of the worst games. Look, I've been around this team since 1976. I haven't seen 2 games back-to-back that bad in my life from this football team.
Well, the other thing,
and that takes a 1-17 or 1-16 season or whatever. How many games they played?
And I do think I'm not putting words in your mouth.
1-15, whatever it was.
Yeah, right. The
I'll get to it
touchdown
some point,
to get the win.
It's my childhood.
I think
there you go.
I think and I'm not putting words in your mouth, but the lack of compete in that game. It was, and you were on the sideline working radio. To me, looking at that sideline, you were there, frustrated, dumbfounded, and probably just totally shocked that it was. I thought there was a lack of compete in that. I don't think they believed that they could.
Lack of compete and just utter lack of focus. Like the things they were doing, some of the things on special teams.
Well, the penalties were just
the penalties. Duke Riley trying to touch the ball. Like there were things going on in that game that you're just like, where's everyone's mind at this point?
So you're right, Goldie. I was standing right behind the bench at one point, third quarter, whatever, and you remember during the preseason. Mike talking about, they're all on the sidelines, or they're going out in the field, and everyone's engaged. Nobody was engaged. They were sitting there, and I'm looking at their faces. Dumbfounded is the word that I came up with. But I'm looking at them, and I said, these guys look like they got no hope. They got nothing to look forward to, and just the looks in their faces was just agony. And I'm like, oh my God, I felt bad for them, but and maybe the worst thing is they still got a lot of games to play. So you can take that two ways. Oh, we got a chance to get better. But what have you seen in these games to give you an iota of thought that they're going to get better?
I gave them the scholarship the first three. The Monday night game against Tennessee does it in for me. There is no reason to believe that. Now, maybe some of the pressure you could say is off and you just go play, but I was utterly I couldn't believe what I was watching. Because that's not a good team on the other side.
Right. We still have, I do want to say this, and maybe this is me just being naive. We still have these 2 games in this 4-game stretch that we talked about, that if you come out of this 3-3 and Tua comes back, do you feel good? Now there is, so
we will chops in New England. The Dolphins are coming.
Now,
we're going to win.
Yes. By the way, the fans in the tunnel after the game, we were getting.
Well,
the best was your guys' fault, right?
No.
Hey, where do I get my money back? Well, you got to go to the 3rd floor for that. I can't.
I'm glad they came to you.
So let me tell you. So let me tell you this. So here's what we're doing the post game show. We're done. We're packing up. Me and Bruno, you're a great photographer, world-class photographer. Photojournalist is what we call him now, right? And so Bruno, he's trying to bring some hope. He says, hey, look, at least we're going to New England. They're a really bad football team, and they're not playing well. So we should be. I said, Bruno, that's the same thing you told me last week when we lost and we're going to play Tennessee. Oh, they're a bad football team. So I don't even take I can't even get a thread that gives me hope that they're gonna win this week.
Hope a lot. Don't let go of the rope.
I'm trying. I've never been this far down on this team.
And in that game, the one time they did get Tyreek open, Huntley missed them by a mile. So.
We may have to bring Bruno in for one of these shows to get his thoughts on this, because when Bruno's mad, he's mad.
He just wants to know what the point spread is.
Now that we've talked,
what that lunch is.
now that we've talked about all the calamity of errors going on with this team and the bad news, when we come back on the other side of the break, we will re-predict the Dolphins' end of the season record. A re-rack. We're going back in time to look ahead. We'll be right back.
I got to give up this.
Welcome back to Game Changers. As promised, we are going to re-predict how we think the Dolphins will finish this season. And guys, I want to go first. Of course, all this hinges on whether or not Tua is going to come back. So I'm going to do this and operating under the idea that he doesn't come back.
He does not?
Yeah. I'm just,
under the auspices he doesn't come back?
Yeah, because we just don't know. And the season's gone so downhill that I can't find the silver lining anywhere. But I still think they finish 6-11. I figure they're going to win the next 2. I'm predicting they're going to win the next 2. And
I was with you until
then they'll sprinkle
9 o'clock last Monday night.
Then they'll sprinkle in a couple.
Maybe beat the Raiders.
Raiders. Maybe get one against the Jets. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I think the Cardinals' offense looks really good right now. I mean, they got that kid Marvin Harrison.
Everybody
Jr.
looks good again, besides us. I mean,
so 6-11.
By the way, so let me ask you this.
And this is basically reverse of what I had. I believe I had 10-7 or 11-6. So
can I just ask you a question on that? Give me the quarterback's name or names that are going to win those 5 games.
It's Tyler Huntley the rest of the way.
You think Tyler Huntley's going to win 5 games?
Well,
Squeeze 5 games out of Tyler?
Okay.
Okay.
5 and 8 with Tyler Huntley. That's optimistic.
All I know is I got a black cloud hanging over my head.
Then why don't you?
I should be on the weather station. It's as dark as it's going to be.
Next weather.
And I'm going very, very low.
Ooh,
I'm going 3 and 14.
And it looks like you erased something here.
I forgot I put 14 and 3, and I didn't want to go out. And I said, whoa, let me erase that and change it. 3 and 14. I don't see him do it.
Is that a cave for Cam? You want Cam Ward? Cave for Cam? Collapse for Cam?
I'm with Mike on the Tua thing. Now, look, if something happens and they win the next 3 games or something, okay, then maybe he comes back.
Then we'll do this segment again.
But I think if this team's going the way it's going. By the time he gets ready to play, there's got to be that question, hey, do we just sit him down, let him go through the rest of the season, let him get healthy, and let's let that injury kind of really get better and not go? I think, if you get to that point, that decision has to be part of the equation. And I think that may happen. And so that's why I'm picking that number.
Before we get to your prediction, I want to talk about the 7-0 prediction you had.
It was very bad.
It was not looking
No.
You guaranteed it.
No, look at
7-0.
You said I could have your car if
So let me say this. Well, you can have my car for a day. So let me
a day. He had it at a day.
So let me say this. I was right on the first 1-0. I was 1-0.
We all had that.
Then Tua got hurt, and then it all,
They were losing that game, and he didn't get hurt. Sorry, Bo.
7-0 unless Tua. I think I said unless Tua gets hurt in the second game.
A, you didn't say that, and B, they were losing that game anyway. But good try, Bo. We love you, Bo.
You got the hotel in New Orleans.
Look.
Now what are you going to do?
I'll swallow my pride. I was wrong. I said 7-0.
No, guaranteed it.
But to me, they should have gone 7-0. So
that counts.
That counts.
They should have.
Well,
Okay.
it makes it easier for me to put my head in the pillow at night.
Whatever helps. What do you got?
My personal opinion is they got 2 more games without Tua.
Yeah.
The dude is coming back.
Yeah.
Things will be okay when he gets back. We mentioned some of those games. Yeah, maybe they win one of the next 2.
Yeah.
Maybe you beat an Arizona. You got the Raiders at home, the Patriots at home, the Rams. I went 10-7. I'm flipping it to 7-10.
Yeah.
And they find a way to win 7 games.
Well,
By the way, let me say this. I think that is better long-term for the franchise than this.
There you go.
Well,
100%.
Because then you go for like 10 years. They did the whole 8-9, 7.
I think this is what's going to happen.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's the best thing.
By the way, I think if Tua comes back, it's closer to 500 at this point.
That's what I got it at, basically.
This number right here
It's 6 and 7.
This number, this 13, this 3 and 14,
fair,
leads to a quarterback in the draft.
Wow.
Hey,
in a high draft.
You know what? As Mike McDaniel, we just said about the offense, I agree with you on the franchise from Stephen Ross down.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be on the table because this thing is going beyond. This isn't just the quarterback.
Yeah.
No. And where the expectations were built up this year to where it is now is probably the biggest fall we've ever seen in South Florida.
I can't believe what I'm saying. I really can't.
Waddle said, the best quote this week was Waddle. Great is not good enough. Great is not good enough. We've got to be better than great if we want to dig out of this thing. And that doesn't mean just him. That doesn't mean Tyreek. That means everybody in that offensive line, everybody in that football team has to exceed greatness that they've had. Yeah. I'm not saying someone has to be greater than Tyreek, but if you're playing good now, you got to start playing greater than great. And that's the only way you dig out of it.
And by the way, in all this, and I'm not giving them a full scholarship, but I give the defense a little. Because there's been short field. Like if you go back and you look at all these drives,
everything starts in the
they're all 20, 30-yard drives.
Yeah.
You're not giving them the opportunity to succeed.
And they're still really good on third down.
And now they realize they got to play a perfect game. If we give up 2 scores, we're probably not going to win. No. That's a hard way to play. You know that.
You've had back-to-back games where early in the game you got a turnover in your side of the field, inside
the 4-yard line.
One was at the 6.
Seattle at 6.
One was at the 6, and Ogba's was at about the 25 or something, and you came out with a goose egg. 0 points out of 2 turnovers like that could have changed the impact of the game in 2 back-to-back games. That is horrendous.
No, look, I mean, they can't even get offensive plays off right now.
Yeah.
You can cast a wide net as to who's to blame for all of this, and a lot of it's falling on the offense right now.
Yeah, maybe have those picnic baskets during training camp would have been a little better.
You had a picnic basket?
Well, they did. I was up there in the heat, man. I was sweating with Goldie and you. Well, he didn't come much. He didn't come in my game.
Ooh, dude. Did you not see how tanned I was after training camp? I was glistening because of training camp every day standing in 100-degree heat.
Yeah. After 3 days, he told me it was the dog days for him.
It was the dog days.
Dog days.
I stand by it. All right, still to come
I love it. Hotter the better.
Still to come.
Bring it on.
It was a reporter's dog day for him.
It was tough. Still to come on Game Changers. The Miami-Dade had media day. Jimmy Butler showed up, albeit late, but he is here. We're going to talk about Jimmy.
Late is great.
Yeah. Welcome back to Game Changers. This past week, it was Heat Media Day. At the moment, the Miami Heat are out playing basketball, doing their training camp in the Bahamas. What an idea!
That's awesome, huh?
What a gig.
Well, yeah, I thought the Dolphins training camp was easy, but they're in the Bahamas.
I know.
Good deal.
So they're going to work hard.
Oh, yeah.
But at night they'll throw a little dice a little bit, maybe.
Didn't Pat Riley used to take the Lakers to Hawaii?
Nice restaurant, yeah.
They used to take them to Hawaii back in the 80s.
Well, there's 2 teams. I think one team's in Atlantis and one team's in Bahamar.
Okay, good deal.
The Heat went to the new one, the Bahamar.
We should start sending reporters out there. Uncle Leo back there
in
the control room.
Looking for a trip.
Every time we go to the Bahamas, it's for work. I've never been there actually to enjoy it. But okay, let's talk about Jimmy Butler because he shows up late to media day. No big deal, whatever. We'll brush it aside. But when he did talk to reporters, Goldie, it seems like he turned over a new leaf. It seems like he took all the criticism or the quotes that came out of the Pat Riley press conference at the end of the year. It seems like he took it to heart, and it doesn't seem like this is going to be a big deal. Do you like that it sounds like Jimmy Butler is on board with A, just trying to be available, and B, maybe not getting offended by the things Pat Riley had to say?
I think that was the second part's the biggest part. We'll see how it shakes out, how many games he plays. He has to play more games, so you're not in the play-in, and basically give yourself no chance against a higher seed in that first round of the playoffs if you do win the play-in. But remember when Pat made the statements, there were people saying, oh, Jimmy's not going to put up with this.
Right.
And
he's gone. Yeah. He's trading him.
Pat Riley still carries the weight, even generations later, in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I think Jimmy Butler probably knows Pat Riley's trying to do what's best for him as a player, do what's best for the team.
Yeah.
Pat Riley's loyal to his veterans. He has always been. You go back to the John Starks days with the Knicks going 3 for 18 a game. Pat Riley, when you're in, you're all in with him.
Right.
So impressive by Jimmy Butler. I would say that because it could have gone the other way.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, his commitment to saying, play more games, play harder, do all those things. I love that. Look, and he came in late, but that's
whatever.
That's all right. But but it's still. But I think that I'm with you, Pat Riley. Look, he's got $100 million. Got $100 million coming to him over the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Right, $100 million. If that's me and some guy saying, hey, if you don't want to be here, go, or we'll figure something out. I want to get that money.
Right.
And if I want to get another contract, and I like to do it here, I just think that what Riley did I think it was perfect at the time. It gave Jimmy a little time to fester over it and maybe get it out of his head that maybe that was a bad thing. Maybe he's right. And to look at what's going on, but you got to get Duncan's got to play better. You got to get Robinson's got to play better.
Tyler Hero's got
to get a lot better.
But
for the money he's making.
You got a Bam Adebayo that went to the Olympics, played on a gold medal team, and I think his presence is really going to impact this basketball team very, very much this year.
I like that Jimmy, when he came in, because we've seen him force his way out of other teams, like Minnesota. That situation got ugly real quick.
Didn't have Pat Riley.
It didn't have Pat Riley. It's just amazing how Pat can still pull the right strings at the right time, and it's so I don't know if it's calculated
It's
or
pelts. It's pelts.
Well, and it goes right down
Yeah.
through. So with the he'd have going here for the 30 years, nearly that Pat's been here since he walked on that Carnival cruise ship for the press conference, which I covered as a guy in my 20s. There's never a crack in the wall. Yeah. It's Mickey. It's Pat, who's whoever Randy Fund at the time, whoever's there, and right down to the hand-picked coach. That's been a part of it the whole way. And if Spo says you better do this, there's no agent going to the GM. It's all on one. Everybody's on the same page there. And as Pat Riley has done throughout his incredible 50-year career, like hasn't he been in the third of the NBA Finals that ever been played? And so there's winning and there's misery.
Yeah.
And if you're all in, great, we'll take care of you. And if you're not, there's the door. Yeah. No problem.
Yeah, well,
I love it.
Yeah. It's great.
It's still a throwback. And, that's, by the way, the Panthers wrapping up their training camp. That's what the Panthers kind of have going now. From from Vinny Viola to Bill Zito to Paul Maurice. Yeah, we're going to treat you great.
Yeah.
We're going to make sure you get taken care of. But when the lights go on, you better bring it.
Yeah.
Or there's going to be some old school consequences, and you still need, not as much as you used to, but you still need a little bit of that old school.
Well, and it works. It's the two franchises that have won the most in the last 10 years here.
I love the Palmer. He's got that 5-day work. He got that 5-day conditioning kind of deal, right? But they had a preseason game in the middle. He goes, so it was only week 4, but when we come back, we're gonna get that 5th one in.
I was tired watching it. Those guys were skating, sticks on the knee.
You're calling Mesa the dog days.
But the other,
I didn't complain. I just said I was
tired. But the point is, you didn't hear one of those players gripe about it.
No.
Right? They were all in 100%.
And they said they came in better shape this year. Yeah. All right, still to come. Unfortunately, Pete Rose passed away this week, and of course that opens up the controversy of all controversies. I think when it comes to Major League Baseball, we'll talk about that when we come back. Welcome back to Game Changers. This week we lost a couple of legends. Dikembe Mutombo passed away at the age of 58, and Pete Rose also passes away. I believe he was 83.
Yeah.
And every time Pete Rose is brought up, guys, everyone mentions should he be in the Hall of Fame. There's the whole gambling scandal that went around with him. But should baseball make this right and put him in? Because all I see nowadays when you watch a baseball game is betting lines sponsored by DraftKings, FanDuel, whatever it is. So is it time that baseball gets over itself, I think, Bo, and puts Pete Rose in there?
Yeah, first let me say, Dikembe Mutombo, one of the great individuals that we've had, whether it's from us, forget about his basketball, a humanitarian,
100%.
A great person, and I was brokenhearted to see that.
And did a lot of it quietly.
Very
a lot of it quietly.
Pete Rose, absolutely. I watched Pete, and look, I was right there in the middle of the big red machine where all those world championships, everything he did. I remember the first time I saw Pete Rose, we were traveling across country to go to Nebraska where my dad grew up. Stopped into a hotel, and it was the All-Star game, and I remember Pete Rose running over Ray Fosse at home plate, ending Fosse's career, and I thought, man, who is that guy? And he played with so much attitude, he played with so much calm, and he loved the game. Absolutely loved the game. The most hits, no one thought Ty Cobb's record for hits was going to be shattered. He shattered it. And look, I know that Pete was a flawed character. He was a gambling guy from head to toe, and I understand that. But it pains me that he passed away without getting an opportunity to be in the Hall of Fame. It really does.
Well, first of all, he's the guy in baseball, okay? In my era of growing up and being an adult, if I got a basketball game, I'm paying to see Michael Jordan, whatever it cost. If I got a football game, I would do it today. If he could still throw it like he did, I'm buying a ticket to watch Dan Marino throw the ball and the intensity that he brought to the table. And I'm watching, if I could do it now, Wayne Gretzky and that magic on the ice, the eyes back. Baseball, it was Pete Rose. Every time you bought a ticket, you were getting 100. There was no jog in the first place. That said, okay, and I knew Pete a little bit in the 90s. I co-hosted his radio show. There are so many guys in sports that have said, I messed up. Looked at a camera, looked at fans, said, forgive me. Right. Even A-Rod, after he didn't, he did. Pete would never admit it. And if he said, I got a gambling problem, I apologize. I did it. Not only am I admitting it, I'm going to go talk to other guys and the minor leaguers and make sure they don't get caught up in this. I'm going to use it to an advantage. He would have been in the Hall of Fame already. I believe that about Pete. Yeah. And I don't think he's ever getting it. The same way I don't think Bonds or Clemens are going to end up getting in because they will not admit it. The guys that admitted it got in.
He played the game of life.
People want to forgive people.
He played the game of life the same way he played baseball.
Yeah, that's true.
With no regret.
Yep.
No regret at all.
100%.
Well, yeah, I agree. I don't think he's going to get in.
No.
I'm in the camp. I think he should get in because I think all of us are flawed. But yeah.
But in sports, everybody wants to give guys second. You want to. I think in general, people want to give people the benefit of the doubt, and everybody knows we're all flawed. Everybody makes mistakes. Pete just would never own up to it, despite the evidence being this thick that he did it.
Yeah. All right, well, that's a good point, too. All right, listen, we're going to wrap it up here on Game Changers now, but don't forget, just a couple of days. Just a couple of days away from the Panthers dropping the puck on their season. Of course, the Cup's been making its round all over the world, so we'll be there Monday and Tuesday night, of course, for the ring ceremony, and then opening night where they get to raise a banner.
It'll be here on Game Changers.
We'll see it?
Yep.
Let's go. By the way, no Let's Go Home Baby against the Lightning? What happened?
Preseason.
Okay.
To be discussed next week.
Yes, we'll see you next week.